Hello, welcome to our show, Embracing Your Design for Midlife Transformation. The tagline, Come Alive to Impact More Lives. As a tiny habits coach, happy for no reason trainer, and a genekeys guide, I invite soulful professionals to have conversations related to their life experiences, businesses, human design charts, and hologenetic profiles based on gene keys and ancient I Ching. Enjoy our show. Hello! Hey, I'm so honored to have my guest today, Kimberly Winters. I'm so honored to have Kimberly Winters to be my guest. Do you want to say hi to our audience first?
Yes, hello. Thank you, Sunny. I'm really excited to be here.
I just love to interview people who has different missions. They initiates people to do different things. And Kimberly is the international podcast host, and she is the veganist enthusiast. She just so passionate about the plant-based diets, and she's also a public speaker. And today, I think that's a great opportunity. We can learn about her journey, how to become a vegan enthusiast and educator, and to help other people to transit to this amazing diet. So the first question I'm very curious about, are you always vegan, or is anything in your life you decided that is what you're going to do?
So, no, I haven't always been vegan, but I do believe that I've kind of been on this path my entire life.
Mm.
Yeah, as a child, I think children, we're just we love animals, right? They're soft, they're cuddly, they're sweet, they're cute, and we are drawn to them. And then we grow up in a family very typically where they also consume animals. And so we learn that there are animals that we love and there are animals who we consume. And you grow up and this is really common and normal, and a lot of people don't question it. But I even as a child kind of was like, what's going on here? But I didn't stop eating animals, and I kept doing that until I was almost 21. But as things kind of happened in life, I started to notice, at looking back, I can see where the seeds were planted, where I would learn something or question something, and it would kind of just be in the back of my mind. But I didn't make any active changes until I got to high school, where I stopped using products tested on animals. That's where the action started for me. I found out a few things and I was floored, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that. That to me feels wrong. And so I stopped using products tested on animals. And then I got to college and I was a psychology major at first. And so I learned how even more about animal testing, which just solidified that. But then I had also taken some ethics courses and started to kind of think about that. I'd met my first vegetarian. She was my best friend my first 2 years of college, and I had that exposure, but I didn't stop eating animals until I got an issue of PETA's Animal Times magazine in the mail. I do not know why this magazine came to me. I don't remember filling out anything for PETA. I'd never donated money to them at that point. But this magazine shows up in the mailbox. I read it cover to cover. I was up physically sick all night because I was thinking about all of the meals that I had consumed over the course of my life that involved animals. I went vegetarian at first, and I was vegetarian, and then I would stop eating eggs and cheese, and then I would kind of go back to eating cheese. Cheese is really addictive, by the way. And I finally was like, this is enough. In 2015, I've been vegan since. I've always been an activist, even since becoming vegetarian, but even more so now, since I went vegan. I feel like it's time to use my voice and share my experience and my knowledge. with anyone who wants to listen. Veganism is actually a whole lifestyle.
Mm,
So within the lifestyle, there is a diet component because we do eat multiple times a day. And so you do eat vegan food, which means you're not consuming animals. But being vegan actually is a whole life change. So there are
mm,
people who are plant-based and their focus is very likely health. And they change what they're eating, but they don't necessarily make changes in other aspects of their lives. So to
mm,
simplify it, vegans don't do anything that use, exploit, or harm animals as far as is possible and practicable, knowing that we do not live in a vegan world. So that means not only are we not consuming animals, but we don't wear their skins. We don't use products tested on animals or that contain animal products. It even includes things like what kind of entertainment we pay for. We're not going to a circus where animals are being used. We're
mm.
not going to aquariums and zoos and things like that. We're using our money and our the way that we interact with the world around us to say, here's what we think is ethically and morally okay. And we're not giving our money to the things where we don't.
That really gave me understand more about the lifestyle pieces. I'm the lifestyle mentor. I really hope everybody can see lifestyle is not just, you change one thing, everything will be flow into it. You need to be kind of like complete
Mm-hmm.
over, and you don't need to be like all of a sudden that you change everything. But if you decided, like me, I decided to be happy. That's like 3 years ago. That's the lifestyle. Whatever I do, I need to keep my happiness above. And
Mm-hmm.
I did it. But if I just want to be happy and I say, okay, but then I'm not happy, I just say, nah, this is not going to happen. Happiness is a myth. And then I'm never going to get because
Mm-hmm.
I need to kind of like a little guidance. And I think that's how you have your unique program to help people to declare, but also need to have the implementation.
Yes.
So I think that is how you get into this amazing program to lead people through, you educate people, understand this is the lifestyle change. It's not like a fancy trend. Since you've been through it, just like me, I been through this up and down for happiness journey, and I know the point, the blind spots other people might have, right? So would you like to share maybe like two or three the struggles that most people would face when they start to change their lifestyle?
Yeah, sure. So I think that one of the biggest pieces is sharing it with the people closest to you
Mm,
and then kind of navigating the reaction.
mhm,
Because the word vegan, somebody declaring, like you said, I'm going to be happy and I'm going to live my life in a way that makes me happy. People very often will be supportive, right? Like, yeah, I'm really excited that you're going to be happy and tell me all the things you're going to do to be happy. But if you tell them, hey, I'm going to be happy by going vegan and living in alignment with my values and making different choices and eating different foods and buying different products and not engaging in the world the same way I have, a lot of people will go, that's too much. That's good for you. I'm not interested. I don't want to hear about it. I'm not going to do it. So you better not come and tell me that now that you're doing it, I'm doing it. So there can be a lot of that. Of course, there are people, and I was lucky enough. I was still living at home with my parents. They were very supportive. I did have to learn how to cook. They were not making multiple meals so that Kimberly could eat while everyone else ate something different. But overall, they were very much like, okay, this is what you're going to do it. And I actually didn't like vegetables and didn't know how to cook when I made the decision to go vegetarian. So there was a little bit of the, all right, we'll see how long this lasts. But when they saw that I was serious about it, then they really
mm.
were like, okay, this is her thing. And but they never said that's stupid. Why would you do that? But there
Yeah, yeah.
are a lot of people when they
Mm,
declare, hey, I've learned about this, I want to do it. I want to change my life in this way, they will face some backlash. So,
Mhm.
and there's going to be moments of both mourning kind of the change in relationship with other people, but also within yourself. Food is so emotional and there's so much tradition tied up in it. And when you think about the people in your life that you love, maybe you have a grandparent who made a dish that just always made you feel safe or comfortable, or maybe
Yes.
they're gone now and you still eat it and it brings them back to you. There is so much connection. And when
Exactly.
you decide, oh, I'm going to be vegan, that means I can't eat that dish anymore the way that I've always eaten it. There can even be a mourning of that, like, oh, I'm not going to be as connected to my grandma or something like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
But by the way, side note, you can veganize it and then you can have this.
Exactly. Yeah, there's like possibilities limitless right there.
Yeah.
Right now, we have all this way to really cook the way without the meats in there. So I really just think you are remind me a lot about the habits because I'm the Tiny Habits certified coach, and Dr. BJ Fa is the author of Tiny Habits. He kind of just shouted out based on the study data is emotions create habits. You just
Mhm.
say it perfectly when we grow up with certain dish or something grandparents cook. It's just the association, that emotion. So we already have this wiring inside our circuitry, so that remind us that good and good emotion, then we want to give up those.
Right.
It's really that's how the emotion is already created, then we need to rewire it. But there's a lot of way to do it once really that there's the commitments, the
Yes.
determination. But I mean, that's how people like you, so important to be there to say, I understand, I
Mhm.
have been through the same change. But
Yeah.
it's not saying it's not possible because like I did it. Like I'm
Right.
not different than you, right?
Mhm.
So that is just an amazing story you share because I know a lot of people, younger particularly, they just want to try it all and have fun, which is fine, and there's nothing wrong. But someone need guidance. They're very committed, it's serious, but then sometimes they just need more support. And it's
Yeah.
nice you have people to find you out there to do things with them. So
Mhm.
that is amazing story. Thank you for sharing. Because it get me more excited because when you share, I can see your profile, your human design charts, and tell me a lot about what you just shared. So I think if you don't mind, I would like to share some of my insight based on the charts and the profile. This podcast is talk about embracing your design, right? So the design part is sometimes we think about we can do a lot of choice. Yes, we have a free choice. We can choose what we want to do, but internal energetically, we might not have that many choices, which means you got imprinting by somebody's emotions. You can feel that, like, or you go to somewhere, everybody's so happy, you just get in, you become boosted up, right? So we cannot really make the choice, say, no, stop the energy flow. I don't want that energy from other people. There is no way we can do that choice. But the good part is we can choose to understand our own energy flow because we cannot block it, right? The best way is just to flow with it and understand our own. So when that change is coming, we don't feel like we are the problem. We're not the problem. We're not the victim either. But just like you shared a story, you're not a vegan begin with, but internally you just has this awareness, right? Just feel something's missing.
Yeah.
So we all have that internal energy flow. That's how I use the human design chart to do that, so I can understand myself better. Based on your profile, um, it's a 1 to 6, and you are the 2 4 profile. You're the generator. I'm the generator too. Generator is one of the 4 types of the energy type among the human population. A generator usually have the tendency to jump into things. We want to get things done. We are the doers. We want to change things. We want to just do a lot of things, even we don't know what we are doing that. So sometimes we like a little engine, just run, no stopping, right? But the 2-4 profile is very unique. It's 1-6. It's different energy expression. So the 2-4 is the hermits. So you have inner wisdoms. You have a lot of things you know, but not necessarily able to say it yet. So
Mm.
you need a contemplation or reflection periods through your life. So you feel more grounded that way. If you continue to do too much, like you're generator without stopping, you might feel missing and you need that a long time. That's the hermit energy. But the 4 um, is more like friendly. You like to share what you get, that your contemplating energy or wisdom, then you just and I need to share to my dear friend, or somebody actually know you. Like Kimberly has something to share. Let's follow her. So you are the community builder. Everything you're there to share. People like to bond, with you and listen to stories. So that's the 2-4 energy profile.
That's really interesting. And I look back over my whole life, and anytime I've come to some realization or learned something that blew my mind, my first thought is not to sit in that more. It's to go tell anybody who will listen.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Yeah, it's because I can definitely see that 4 is so nice to be people like to hang out with you. Then, and even better, you have wisdom to share. Who doesn't want to be, learning more they don't know, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a defined center, energy center, depends on which part of the energy center, you will have consistent energy flow. So you're
Mm.
not like fluctuated and totally go 9 yard out, like too much or too little. You're consistent. So on your profile, you have 5 of the consistent centers, and 2
Mm.
of them actually like independent among others. Is your head. So you're you're very logical, but you sometimes have a confusion. That's why you need to sit there to contemplate it. And the hermit energy come in. You have to figure it out. But
Mhm.
that is separate on other energy like your root center, your splenic for your intuition. They are not connected. But if you talk to someone can connect you from the empty channels you don't have, then all of a sudden you start to have the flow.
Yeah.
But because the original is undefined, now it becomes defined, your energy becomes doubles. That means you are fluctuated from like nothing
Mhm.
and go out. Then it's just like sometimes you don't know how to deal with that boost of the energy.
Yeah.
But then when that someone's gone, they just like
Mm.
cannot do anything. I don't know whether you have something you experience because you do have 4 of the undefined centers.
Yeah. I definitely have moments where it actually happened yesterday where I was
Oh,
having a conversation and it felt like I've got to get all this out. I have all this energy. Let's like do a bunch of things. And and then once I was done with meeting with that person, I kind of just needed to spend the rest of the night just like because I had nothing left in me. That's so, oh my goodness, that's so interesting.
yeah, I have an open solar plexus. I didn't know the whole life why I'm so moody. I can be happy, but then next minutes I can be, ugh,
Mm.
you know, now I know I got open solar plexus. So even I'm doing something good about myself, but all of a sudden some energy, somebody has grumpy mood and come in, I just get into my, because nobody can block energy. So they
Hmm.
come in, then I start to have this experience, then I think that's me. So I try to figure out what's wrong with me. why I'm grumpy, waste all the energy, try to figure that out, but it's not even mine. But for you, I think particularly you have the open heart center.
Mhm.
That heart center is like a willpower um, kind of a thing. So sometimes not only you, I think, but a lot of people, they are going to some events that boost up the willpower. Then they say, I can do it, I can, without consistency. But then when they are not there, or they just kind of confused why I do this in the first place. Because it's somebody's ego boosts you to think about you need it too. Then your energy actually become double than the person try to force you to do it.
Mhm.
But this is just a lot of time if we got more of aware about the openness, not the bad sense, it's just different, right?
Yeah.
Open or closed. But the more you understand your own charts, for me at least, that's how it turned me to be happy because I have so many other people unhappiness I have to process, right? But then I realized, oh, I just need to focus on my unhappiness. Oh, others not mine. I just need to recognize that. Then I start to, oh, then I can relax. I can
Mhm.
just be me, right? So that's the human design insights I can see. And the other one jump out to me is the splenic center. You're very open. And for
Mhm.
people who have splenic center, they are very sensitive about the environment. And also because your sensitivity, that instinct is right there. Maybe that's because you feel when you eat meat, um, you can feel that energy is not
Mhm.
flow with you. You need to have more clean energy kind of diet if you have
Mhm.
open splenic center.
I'd love to talk about the difference of the energy. I
Mm,
love that you brought that up between the way I word it is between consuming someone and something. So when we're consuming someone, if we think about a plate of animal flesh, of meat, it's always very brown or gray. There isn't a lot of or any liveliness on that plate.
mhm,
Where you get that is if you start to garnish it with some vegetables or herbs or
mm,
surround it with some plants.
yeah.
We also have to consider that the animals that we typically are eating have bodies very similar to ours and react to stress in a very similar way that we do. So there's
Mhm,
a flooding of adrenaline and things going through them when their lives are ending. And so we're taking in all of that. And it starts by just even looking at the plate. And then when we consider, let's go really simple, a bowl of fresh vegetables or stir-fried vegetables. And if there's a mix of them, even honestly, even if there's just one, like a red pepper, that color is so vibrant and it
mm,
really
yeah.
stands out and you see it and you look at the plate and you go, oh, I can't wait to eat this. Or think about when you walk in the grocery store and the produce section is like fully stocked and there's reds and yellows and greens and
Mhm,
oranges and
mhm.
some purples and you're just filled with this energy of life.
Yes.
It's such a different thing that you're taking in. This energy is so different.
Right, the colors all vibrate at different frequency, and we all know there are different kind of energy we do need to
Yeah.
continue to thrive our life. Even something look alike, like a GMO thing, they look
Mhm.
exactly the same, but energy level is totally different,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So you couldn't really judge by the look. It's if you go deeper in the energy level, you understand it. A lot of things, everything naturally is good for us is really just all the colors, the
Mhm.
eat with the colors, and also the seeds. They have all the energy
Yeah.
inside the seed. Because you think about how the seed created. They go through all the cycle, have all the lights and all this beautiful thing, and they are stored in that seed. It can be a huge tree, right? like almonds and all that, it is the energy.
Yeah.
It's all in there. It's,
I love to think too, you think about broccoli, right? How many people don't eat the stems of broccoli? They'll even go as far, you buy the bag that's just the florets, right? You're not eating those nasty stems. However, when you think about the energy coming up that stem, and like broccoli has a hardy stem, right? It's not just the little, dinky stick that it's sitting on. There is so much concentrated growth and energy.
yeah.
And just, if you have fresh broccoli, you shave off the outer edge, which is really, really tough, and chop it up small and throw it in with the rest of your broccoli. And now you're consuming this, not just the florets, which are like the
Mm.
flowering bits and that are, in the sun, and just this light energy. You've got this growth within the stem as well.
Every part has their purpose and they have a different energy. Um, we don't throw them away. Human design system really helped me to start to see things differently because we are all flowing in the same energy field. So if we not happy or we do something to harm others, we are still inside the same energy field. Do you
Mhm.
think they'll come back to us sometime? Yeah, they are there. Just don't know like where or when, right? Um, but anyway, that's just my viewpoints, and I see that makes sense to me. So I just want to share. And I wonder, you're okay? I go ahead to share your activation sequence based on the gene key.
Yeah.
Gene key is also kind of the 3D roadmap. We
Mm.
are giving the hints so we understand our journey through this 3D. The activation is our doing and being. Will kind of get us more idea about what we come down here to do and our life purpose and what make us healthy. So we talk about you are 2-4 and you're hermits and also like the friendly community builder, and your doing is similar like that. But this time, because it's really focused on you. Uh, so your life work, that's the doing, have a two spheres, life work and evolution. So your life work is 64. See, we only have 1 to 64. So you are the last key. But interesting, the I Ching, that's actually based on the Chinese hexagram. So it's 1 to 64. The I Ching never say the end. So the 64 actually is new beginning.
Oh.
Yeah, they're kind of like concluded on the 63, which is that's your evolution. But the 64 actually is new beginning because everything's in a circle. You cannot have the end. It's just cycle. So 64 for life work, they also have a 3 different vibration frequency based on our consciousness. So when we are in the default, which is everybody, the 3D, most of us live in the default because we think that's norm, that's how we see, that's how we imprinted when we're growing up. And for the light work, default is confusion.
Mm.
Because that is you try to find answer for everything. And particularly, I talk about your head center is enclosed, not connecting with anything else. So there constantly has energy, the pressure to understand thing. So confusion, try to figure out everything. That's
Mm.
in the low vibration. Then also evolution, because they are the pair of the doing, is 63 when they are in the default, the shadow frequency, the Jinkies language is doubt.
Mm.
So when you have confusion and doubts both in your head, you will have a lot of pressure when you're young or try to figure things out. And we all know that you cannot really have a definite answer for all the questions, right? So sometimes you might feel like I just couldn't solve this, it just get frustrated. But this is the purpose for you to feel that way.
Mm.
Because like a paradox, like the Chinese say the Zen Chrome, like there's no answer. That actually is the spiritual practicing. for the Zen master, because you have no answer, you're just going to be crazy. And just right before you get crazy, you finally open and say, oh, there's no answer. That's the answer. So you will have an aha moment just like that because you built for that, your doubts and confusion. And
Hmm.
you just spend all the time and years and me, 30 years to figure out why I'm here. It is just confusing. But when you have enough challenge, enough the thinking, contemplation, reflection time, you move to the gift frequency. That's the get out from the defaults, and the
Mm.
gift frequencies it become for like a lot of creativity, have a new idea, you can grasp that, even you don't know the answer, but you can start to move on other
Mm.
than sit there contemplate and try to find an answer because you know there's no answer, so why bother, right? So you can go out to do things and you can use your imagination, you can create things you like make to happen. Then you also can start to ask the right questions, not why and why not. It's like how and what.
Mm.
So you start to using your imagination to make inquiry, say, I need this. How can I get that? And the answer will come to you if you pay attention to it. So that's your give frequency for the doing part. Of course, the next level is potential. Everybody has the seeds, have a lot
Mhm.
of energy in the seeds, but we need to find the right timing and also just don't chase it. It will come when it's right. It's become purely like purely light because you don't have any doubts, you don't have a confusion. You don't even need to do that much because that's who you are. And that is the highest expression. They call it city. Um, so for you, the 64 and the light work is become illumination. Like
Mm.
you just know things. All your knowledge and wisdom it just shines through you.
Mm.
Then your evolution is the truth. So you find doubts to become truth. Because the doubt you don't trust, right? You always find something you don't like or something you don't believe. But when you have the truth, that's all about it, right? You don't have anything other than not truth. So that is your doing part. I don't know whether you have some aha or something you want to share.
Yeah, um I feel like I'm moving into this space of that knowing
Mm,
and of being like almost there to be really doing the work. I do feel like I have the truth in my part in all of this, that I am like the message that I share and what I am building into what I see as my life's work. I feel that that's my reason for being here. And
mhm,
I have spent, it's so funny that you said with the why, and I need to ask a different question because for so long I just kept saying why this, why not that, why. And when I did have a moment where it was very much of I didn't have the thought of how, but I knew that I had to stop asking why. Like it's like, okay, that's enough. Because all of this why puts me into, I guess the best way to explain it is almost like a victim mentality, because
mm,
it feels like everything's happening to me and I have no control. But if I
mm,
stop saying why and just kind of be like, well, what is my truth? And then start to tap into that and try to live in that, that
yeah.
is has pulled me. So it is the how. I just didn't realize that I was asking
Yeah.
how and actually answering it and being like, okay, step one,
Mhm,
let's do it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So the doing part is really we familiar with that, we know what we love to do and we feel fulfilled and happy when we're doing that, particularly when we raise our consciousness to become really just flow with it, right? Um, but the doing part sometimes is just provide the skills and the lessons so we can move on to really combine our being and the doing it the same alignments. And
Yeah.
so for the gene keys, the other two spheres in the activation sequence is described our healthiness, like the radiance key and the purpose key, because really the purpose based on the ancient tradition and also the gene keys really try to emphasize the purpose is not in the doing, purpose in the being. So we already like a seeds already carry the purpose like being a tree. But when
Mhm.
in growing up, you don't really see the potential of how exactly, you're looking like it's different, right? When you in the process to grow and you finally become a true tree. It's a different process. So the true purpose is in our being's keys. So the radiant for you, you are the 35. Um, that is very, very amazing keys because in gene keys, you call a miracle key. So in the radiance key, when you are in the default or immature, it's called hunger. But the hunger is not related to food only. Yeah, it's food related. But a hunger is more like you are seeking opportunities. You
Mhm.
want to have differences than others. You want to become somebody to inspire others because you already feel something in you needed to share. We'll call it like being a becoming, like how you're gonna be take your beingness, but you also shine through with your purpose key. So that's
Mhm.
becoming. You're the 5 on the purpose key. So the 5 is from impatient to patience.
Mhm.
So when you are impatient, like everybody, particularly for generator, we want to get everything done yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So we just run. Why is still not happening? So become so impatient. Just have to do something we love to do. We enjoy what we do, and provide more time and space for ourselves. Then they become patient. But when we finally get to the patient, then you don't feel any time limitation anymore because you're
Mhm.
just doing what you are born to be, right?
Yeah.
So then combined to the life skills you learn from the life world and evolutions, but you also know in your core, you already got everything you need. So what you really need to do, just let it go and
Yeah.
take that leap, right? Go out to have fun and share, because that
Mhm.
make who you are. So that's your activation sequence.
That's so cool. I feel like I'm starting to do it. And I started to get glimpses of things like that when I first joined Toastmasters, which actually is the podcast came out of a
Uh,
Toastmasters project.
mhm,
But I had a moment in high school when I had to do a presentation and I stood up in front of the class and I made one noise and I couldn't make another noise.
mm,
It was like something was blocking my throat.
oh,
And I failed the project and I was
really?
terrified of public speaking. I really want to do this. I feel this call to learn how to speak to people. And so I joined Toastmasters. And ever since then, in those moments, like I've had glimpses giving a speech, leading, the president, so I do like the intro during the meeting.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I get lost in it. There is no time. I'm just
Ah,
up there and it just comes to me. I don't have to memorize a speech. I know that I'll say what I
mm,
need to say. And it is when I feel the most myself, where I feel the most alive. And
mm-hmm,
so to be able to
mm-hmm.
take that and turn it into how I interact with people, I finally see like that's what I'm supposed to be doing. That's why
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
here. Yeah.
Wow, you just gave me this like goosebump thing because the throat center is really our communication and manifesting. You are open. So that
Mhm.
means at time you're not ready, you don't have energy to speak.
Yeah.
But you know what? Your miracle 35 is right there.
Hmm.
So once you help, you live your dream, you love it or something, that miracle will just turn you to be a communicator, make you powerful because you will take that radiance opportunity to express yourself then with your natural, friendly manner. And no wonder you feel timeless because that's your purpose. Oh, that's so much fun. So, what is the best way to find you?
Yeah, so the best way to find me is on my website, which is didyouBringTheHummus.com. You
Mm.
can submit, you can book a free half hour. You want to talk about veganism, you have questions, you need a little bit of guidance. It's completely free and it's not a sales call. The program I offer is a very detailed, supportive thing. I'll come to the grocery store with you if you live
Oh, wow.
locally, or we'll do it over like Zoom or FaceTime so that you can get comfortable in learning how to read labels, knowing what products to buy, what products are not in alignment with veganism. And we walk through from finding our why, which is so important, and to stick with this new way of living. We find our why and we work all the way through to understanding intersectionality and how veganism is a social justice movement and where it ties into a lot of other social justice movements as well.
That is so great. On behalf of other human beings, you're going to shine lights about us how to really using the amazing plants and to
Mhm.
boost our energy and increase all our productivity and energy base because you are aligned with your truth. You understand that is your calling and you also spend all the time impatiently to get things done and finally know you are on the right track to shine lights with others through your speaking, your podcast host, and also the speaker through your hermit energy. But now you can be a community holder so then we can always learn from you. So I always appreciate your work.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll see you around, Kimberly. Take care.
Thank you, Sunny. You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.